Ericka from the Classy Climb blog. Listen, author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. And it's the end of the year. I want to bring you guys exciting different ways to create revenue as you go into a new year. Get you kind of your blood moving, get your moving and going. And so I brought on a nice change of pace today. And so I'd love for him to introduce himself to the audience. Tell him who you are.
Hey there, this is John Wilker. I'm actually the owner of what's called the Simplest Biz, and I'm from originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I
Uh-oh,
recently
Birmingham.
moved, Birmingham. I recently moved down toward Mobile, South Alabama, to get closer to our kid. So I'm running my operation that we'll be talking about up there and starting it up down here as well. So gonna have a Northern Alabama and South Alabama um, division, I guess is the best way to put it. But I just want to share with you guys today about this simple business that I've been doing for the last 23, now 24 years this month. And I think it's a little off the beaten path. Maybe a lot of you haven't heard of it or thought of it, but I'm excited to share it today.
For sure, for sure. So little tidbit. I stayed in Vestavia in Hoover, Alabama for 6, almost 8 months. My
Did you?
mom, it was after the tornado that hit Pell City. So I
Right.
was down there
Oh,
with the Red Cross. My mom was down there helping a active reserve guard unit get all their stuff back together after the storm and do stuff. So we were both there in the same city, same place, at the same time. So I had a little special place in my heart, and I just was shocked at all the you guys like blew the top off a mountain, put a mall up there. I
I'm
mean,
telling you, Tornado Alley. It's a way of life up there. Ever since I've been a kid, it gets crazy at times. So.
yeah, and it just shocked me. It was very beautiful. I just, when you talk about Birmingham, Alabama, you just don't think about hills and little mini mountains. And so
Mhm.
super interesting, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Uh,
trees in Alabama. I
oh,
mean,
for
up
sure,
in
for sure,
Birmingham. Yeah.
for sure. So I'm glad you got to move and I'm glad you can now start a second part of your business. So simplest business in the world, right? How did we start? How did we get onto this road of this simple business? How do we find it?
It's like anything in life. Sometimes you just trip on something and trip into something, and luckily it was something that checked all the boxes for me.
Hmm.
Back in 1998, even though I did just stumble upon it by happenstance through a friend. Um, I'll kind of go through the. I was doing remodeling
Hmm.
before this, bathrooms, um, painting, and we were doing kitchen remodels, all different
Hmm.
types of stuff, right? Kind of, I had a partner. His name was Dane. And then one of the days back in '98 in December, um, a job fell through. Went to the door. There was a note on it, and they had to leave out of town on an emergency. And I went back out the car, and I'll never forget this. And I said, "Well, Dane, what do you want to do? We don't have anything else to do this week." And this simplest biz is about pallets, wooden pallets, which
Hmm.
sound very unsexy when you first hear the word about it. But I'll get into why it attracted me very shortly. And I said, what's a wooden pallet? And he said, those wooden things that people ship stuff on or businesses ship stuff on and move everything in the country, basically. I said, well, what are we going to do with them? Well, back then we didn't know any better, and we were
Hmm.
selling to an actual pallet yard, right? At $1, $2 a piece, nothing crazy. But the first place we went to that morning, had 2,000 pallets, and they were going to give them to us for free. So right then, when I heard the free part, for
Like, here you
inventory,
go.
and I'm not having to store it. Back then, I didn't know any better, and we were actually lifting it. I haven't done that in years and years.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was back-breaking work, and I was doing it all wrong, and we were selling to a pallet yard and getting really cheated out of money.
Hmm.
And after about the second day, just to give you an idea, there was 1,500 pallets at the next place, right?
Woo.
Free. So that's what got my attention right off the bat. I'm going, well, what kind of business can you get your product for free, right?
Hmm.
And then turn around and sell it. But the issue was that second load we were taking, that second day when we were taking those pallets that were there the day before from that previous load, they were gone. And
Hmm.
I turned to Dane and I said, well, they're selling to a business. We got to figure out who these businesses are,
Hmm.
right? And I said, let's meet here tomorrow morning and we're going to get going. And he didn't show up. He was infatuated with this girl. That's all he talked about. This girl. She was cute. I give her. He had run off with her, and now he's left me with this, this little business idea that I'm like going, wow, no employees, no warehousing,
Mm-hmm.
no overhead, free product, and now I'm left to figure it all out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He left me holding the bag. So I started my journey then back in 1998 to figure out who these businesses were and what their problems were and what problems to solve and how to get exclusivity for these pallets and the whole gamut. I spent years trying to perfect it to where it became very, very, very simplified. Now, it wasn't as simple for me because I had to figure it all out, right? But for the people I teach it to now, it's very streamlined. You don't have to go through the gut wrenching stuff that I had to figure out back in the day.
So did he move to a whole new state, or he just was
I
gone?
I didn't hear from him for 10 years.
That's crazy.
For 10 years. And I told him, I remember talking to him, heard it through a friend where he was, this, that, and the other. And they had broken up, him and that girl, but I told him I was still doing it and what my business had turned
Mhm.
into. And he was, like, oh my God. Sadly, though, he got testicular cancer, he told
Oh.
me, and he was getting treatment and stuff for that. Maybe we would have rejoined forces at that point. I don't know, but I'd really built it out at that
Mhm.
point. So it was kind of my baby. But yeah, 10
But
years.
he introduced you to it though, so
He did.
that's one part. He introduced you to it. I like it.
Exactly. Even though I was doing it the wrong way, I do it completely different now than I did in the beginning. So we'll maybe cover that in this
For
episode
sure.
as well.
So you start off, you got this creative business, but it's like heavy. It's kind of backbreaking.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I learned in quick order how the strategies I needed to learn to be able to have these forklift drivers
Mhm.
put them on my truck now and unload them off my truck. Because I'm 57, I haven't lifted pallets in I don't know decades, really at this point. So once I cracked that nut as well, and the
Mhm.
strategies you need to figure out, I teach them I have a training course. I teach people this,
Mhm.
by the way, and we'll get into that later. But no, I don't lift this stuff. I don't repair it. I don't sort them. I'm going straight from a buyer,
Mhm.
excuse me, a supplier on a weekly basis because they generate, and sometimes on a
Oh,
daily
yeah.
basis, jobs of this stuff, hundreds a day, sometimes thousands a day in some circumstances, where I'm driving in, they're loading my little flatbed truck, which I don't need a CDL for or anything, and
Mhm.
I'm driving 3 blocks to a buyer directly there that needs them. They unload my truck, so I get them for free, sell them for $6, $7 a piece, $8 a piece in the market right now for just a medium-sized pallet,
Mhm.
and 120 pallets on my truck. So in a 35-minute process, I'm at an $820. Sometimes if they're longer pallets, it could be $1,000 order, and then
Mhm.
I rinse and repeat that, and it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm done with my day. I could keep going, but I'd like doing other stuff.
Hey, I feel you. You're out living the life on the beach now.
Yeah.
uh,
Um, I might want to cover something real quick, Eric,
sure, go ahead.
just to help people understand why in the world would anybody want to do pallets, because out of all the things on the planet, why pallets, right?
Mhm.
There's a couple stats you need to understand, people, especially with what's going on with the internet right
Yep.
now. There's 2.5 billion pallets in the United States circulating right now. Okay. Last year there was 2 billion. So it's gone up 500 million this year from 2 billion to 2.5, right? Stat two, 65% of all lumber in the United States, processed wood, is used to either build pallets or
Mhm.
rebuild pallets.
Jesus, that's
Not
crazy.
houses, not fences, not buildings, pallets.
Pallets.
And then the last thing, 85% of all commerce in the United States at some point in this life cycle is moved on a pallet, whether it be the
Yeah.
raw material or the end product. So it's the one thing on the planet nobody really notices, so it's under the
Mhm.
radar, right? Um, but it's the one thing this country probably couldn't live without or function
Yep.
if it wasn't there.
Because it gives that foundation, right?
Right.
Inside trucks, at stores. I was at Walgreens and they were unloading, they were stocking the shelves, holiday.
Mhm.
I drove around the side and there was just a mangled
Yeah.
pile of pallets. in the
Exactly.
back. And when Felix was like, "Oh, you should interview John," I was like, "You know what? I just drove past a bunch of pallets the other day. Didn't think nothing about it."
You know, it's funny that you say that because people
Mhm.
who do, I have a YouTube channel and all, and people get exposed to this, and those pallets have been there all along. I
Mhm.
call it having your pallet eyes on, but once they kind of get exposed to this business model, they can't get away from it. It's everywhere, and they
Mhm.
don't. They never. It was always there. They just never realized it. And I've always loved that about this business because, I like being under the radar. I don't
Mhm.
want to be the 1 millionth person doing drop shipping on Amazon, right?
Yeah, I know.
So for that aspect, for the longest time, I kept it under my hat. I didn't tell
Mhm.
anybody. Um, and the whole reason I even started teaching people is I have some other interests as well, and I had a friend come over on some other business interests, and I said, "Oh crap, I got a couple deliveries to make." And I've known him for years, but I never. And he said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I got a pallet business that I pick up and I deliver." He said, "Well, what?" I said, "Well, come along with me."
Mhm.
And he came along, and we pulled in about 2 grand in about 2 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Dang.
And I pulled in my parking space where I park my truck because I don't park it at my house. My wife doesn't live. At one
You
of
said
my
it's a
businesses.
flatbed?
Yeah, it's flatbed. It's
Yeah.
only 12 foot long, 8 foot
Right,
wide.
right,
So
right.
I got it for $3,600. This last one,
That's a
7
sale.
years ago. Anyway, he shifted. I remember we finished it, and he shifted in his chair, and he looked at me. He said, "This is brilliant, man. Will you teach me how to do it?" And another light bulb moment came up, and I said, "Well, why the hell should I have all the fun?" And that's when I started my journey on not only doing the business, but putting together a training course, very in depth, out in the field training course that could teach other people the way I do it.
Wow. So I'm already just my mind's going. Phew, 2 billion pallets. Did y'all hear that right?
2.5,
2.5 billion pallets.
and there's
Good
9
gracious.
point something in the world, but
Uh huh.
2.5 just in the
In America.
U.S.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in America.
And then 60% of wood, right? And that's why when I'm seeing lumber prices, I'll be like, listen, anytime I see random wood anywhere, I'm like, that's some money. Somebody
It's
left money
gold.
over there.
It's it's
That's kind of
gold
how I
right
see.
now.
That's how I see wood every time I see some pallet wood somewhere. I'm like, somebody left some money over there. Um.
Yeah, on that topic though, last year, and I was just giving you prices, really dated
Mhm.
prices, but a $7 pallet last year, this year is going for 13.
That's crazy.
And if
Is
it's
it because of
brand
the
new wood,
supply shortage or
it's
just like?
it's a wood. There was a something happened in Canada, whatever. I don't know if it's a beetle infestation or what, but there's been a wood shortage for
Mhm.
the last year and a half. So, which is a good thing for us because we deal in a lot of recycled type stuff,
Mhm.
stuff that's been lightly used,
Yeah.
right? Not busted or whatever, but just lightly used. And all the businesses that were having to buy brand new stuff, they don't want to have to. It's really hitting them in the pocketbook. So they're
Mhm.
switching over to recycled stuff where we get into play. And I'm not talking standard. There's a pallet out there called a standard 4840 that you see beside grocery stores
Uh
and
huh.
Walmart. Well, there's a whole other plethora of sizes and styles out there. And I concentrate on those because nobody pays attention to them.
Mhm.
And it's a lot better way of going about doing this business than going after the same type of pallet the pallet yards are going after. We go
Right.
after a whole subset that has a massive quantity as well, so we're not getting stuck in a very competitive market with that one pallet that they're dealing with. Okay.
Right.
But anyway, the prices have really gone up, and it's a blessing to the industry for people because it was pretty stagnant for years. It was good
Mhm.
money, but it's really nice to see them go up the way they.
So what's some of the biggest issues now when it comes to picking them up? Is there, because some people haven't been at work, right? So are the factory workers still at work? Are they still kind of running the forklifts for you? Because of
Oh
the
yeah,
pandemic.
absolutely.
Mhm.
And even during COVID, um, any type of industry was
Mhm.
considered what was the word?
Essential.
This, what's that?
Essential.
Essential service, right?
Mhm.
So in the shipping industry, the trucking industry, in the factories, in the warehouses and distribution centers, all that, it actually boomed
Mhm.
because there was a whole subsection of society that was scared of the internet and ordering on the internet, even businesses as well. So there was like a 4-year growth pattern. You look at the 4-year growth pattern of ordering, online ordering, and I'm not just talking Amazon, I'm talking everything. That line went like this during COVID.
Yeah.
Because people were stuck at home and they really didn't have a choice but to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
So that produces massive amounts of shipping. And that's what's going off in California right now, off the coast.
Mm-hmm.
We are at capacity. Every truck that can be on the road is on the road. We even
Yeah.
need more. So it's not a slowdown, it's a boom.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the stuff's on pallets or crates
right.
or drums, or dunnage or whatever, all the other stuff that we deal with and stuff.
So what happens when you show up and like half the pallets are busted? Do you leave half
Well,
of
it's a little
them?
proprietary information, but I'll
For sure.
kind of cover that. In the training, I teach people there's different scenarios. So not all suppliers are created equal, right?
Right.
So I have to go through criteria and how one deal's set up compared to another deal. So we're not, we're either, I'll put it this way. We're either sweetening the deal or we're leaving some stuff off the table, depending on what's going on in that aspect. But there's a way of monetizing that aspect of the business as well with the busted stuff. So I get into that aspect on as well in the training to really break it down so you're not stuck in a situation where you're trying to move junk. Right. But we're not repairing it or anything like that for sure. But we can monetize it in a way that is another revenue stream for us.
The crazy thing is I used to work at Lowe's as a manager years, right? And we'd have all these just pallets in the back. And I'd come back there and they like, hey, can y'all clean up a little bit in the back? By the time we'd go back there to try to clean up, or we'd send some guys to go clean up, somebody would be with a pickup truck every day, like clockwork, taking some, leaving some.
Yeah, very cool. So there's scavengers out there, right? And they were like I was in 1998. They were picking up that one size pallet that we could sell to a pallet yard because that's all they really deal with, right? But again, a lot of these businesses that we deal with, not just Lowe's, there's places, there's plastic injection molding and these weird businesses that there's by the millions out there that a lot of people have never even thought of that have a whole plethora of different sizes and styles of pallets. Well, if I'm that scavenger and all I want's that one size, right? I got to pick them out and make a mess and dump stuff over just to get that one size. I'm never going to be exclusive for that supplier,
right? Because you're making a mess.
So I want to know how to move. I had to learn how to move all the different styles so I can get exclusivity. And that was my ATM machine, right? Now, Lowe's, which is retail, and I don't deal with a lot of retail because it's seasonal, right? You get boom or bust in summer and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But they only deal with that one size. And I'll deal with that. But the real secret to this is knowing how to move a lot of different stuff besides that standard pallet.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Makes life so much easier, and you're doing such a service to the business supplier where you're moving all different types of stuff, and even then we have crates and drums, 55-gallon drums, and corrugated boxes, and wire spools, and what's called dunnage, 4x4 by 8 pieces of lumber, and Gaylord boxes, industrial bags. I'm the guy who can move all that stuff where the other guy only knows how to move one thing. Right? So knowing how to move that, you are attaching yourself, and this is important in any business, tethering yourself in many different areas to that business, right? As many ways as you can be, so you become indispensable and you get exclusivity for that supply for decades. I have some of the same suppliers today that I acquired back in 1998. And same with buyers as well, because you just got to know how to serve them the right way.
So do you have employees or you have like people that just come in and out?
No, I don't need employees. I am pulling into a supplier.
Right.
My employee basically is their forklift.
Yeah.
And there's ways I sweeten the deal with them as well. I know my forklift drivers really well. I've already called them the night before. I know when I'm picking up everything. I got logistics down to and it gets on a cycle as well. So when I'm pulling in, they're pulling out. And they're grabbing those stacks of pallets. And on my truck, I can buy a little. If I want to do larger loads, I can rent a bigger truck by the day. But On my truck, I can get 6 stacks of 20, 22, right? So 120,
Okay.
130 pallets. So they're coming out and loading that on there. So my exertion of effort, I'm just chatting with them, right?
Right. Right.
But I have to crank the strap down,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have to throw it over and I have to crank it down. If you got about 15 pounds of torque in your arm, you're going to be fine. Women do this. So strap them down. And then I'm just driving literally sometimes 300 yards or to the other side of the building, these
Mm-hmm.
really long buildings. Sometimes it's that far. And usually it's around a 2 or 3 block little trek out of the parking lot, left, right, and 500 yards down, and I'm in the parking in the area of the yard of the business that's going to buy
Mm-hmm.
from me. Their forklift drivers come out, lift them off. I write out an invoice, 120 times $7,
Mm-hmm.
hand it in. There you go. Repeat.
I love it. I love it. Super simple. I like it.
That part's the
What's
simple part. Knowing where to get these businesses are and how to
yeah.
deal with these businesses is the part you need to know, right? Not sound like a rookie for sure.
So the funny part about what you just said about the women do it too, there was like a TikTok trim of women like truck drivers
Yeah.
taking the spool and throwing it and
Oh
like
wow.
showing
Yeah.
sometimes how hard it is and like sometimes dropping them and it was like viral for a few weeks and I just
I
thought that
love
was
that. And
I
some
thought it
do
was
the lasso technique, the hook. I do
yeah.
the hook.
Yeah. So yeah, people like seeing those things. I promise you.
Now
Um
there's passive income as well in this, but I will
okay.
get into that later.
For sure, for sure. So you have no employees. You're backing it up. Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John. I'm coming home through, right?
Right,
And you're dropping
exactly.
it off. So is it a good time of day? Is it like a midday activity or any time of day kind of activity?
Any time of day. Sometimes I can do it in the middle of the night if they're a 24-hour operation, or if I want to
Mm-hmm.
go out of town early in the morning. I've done it in the middle of the night. I've done it. I have keys to some of my main buyers'
Mm-hmm.
dates, and I can get in and go anytime I want. But no, here it's not like McDonald's where
Yeah.
we don't have any pallets. Bring us some. The cool thing is I kind of dictate when I work and
Mm-hmm.
I have overlap all the time. Meaning when I go to a buyer and they've ordered a couple hundred pallets or 150 pallets or whatever, they still have 30 or 40 or 50 on the lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we have to operate that way is because if they run out of this,
Mm-hmm.
see, they have 6, 7, 8 truckloads coming in today that they got
Wow.
trucks coming in that they got to load up. The
Mm-hmm.
buyer does, right? So if they don't have any pallets, they come to a complete standstill. Then they got to move all those
Right.
trucks that came in into tomorrow, and the ones that it has this domino effect. But
Right.
we don't let them run out. If I want to take a vacation for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
all I do is load them up.
Mm-hmm.
Which fringe benefit is I have checks, big checks for me
Yeah.
before I go on my vacation. But
Yeah.
I'm insured, and they're okay with it because they know they can't run out even if I'm taking my 2-week vacation. I'm overloading them with pallets before I leave.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I like it. I like it. Um, little trivia someone put in here. Henry Ford so much hated waste that he invented a charcoal brickle to recycle his pallets.
Oh, did he? I did not
Yeah.
know that.
John comes with little unique trivia in every show. But um, so I like it. I like it. So they give you a check, you have to be insured, no? No?
My truck has to be insured.
Gotcha.
I had
Okay.
one company, and it was I'll just tell you who it was. It was
Uh-huh.
UPS.
Mm-hmm.
Was the only company I've ever dealt with in the 24 years of business that I went in, and they had a pretty good, decent amount of pallets at
Mm-hmm.
UPS, of course, and they wanted me to have some insurance to be on their property in case I got hurt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd never have been requested that before because most people are in most of the business. It's like, please get this out of here
Get
because
it out of here.
if you don't get it out of here, I got to come here on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
load my box trucks up, which is a pain in the butt, or
Ah.
fill up my dumpster 3 times a week and incur the charges and pay my guys time and a half to get this stuff out of here. Right. So in
Right.
some cases now, after I'm perfected this thing, I have businesses that pay me to take perfectly good product away, and I'm getting paid on the other end for selling them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as far as that particular UPS situation, I said, whatever, I don't need you because I looked over the fence line and there was twice as many pallets over the fence line on the company that didn't want me to have to be insured to be on the property.
I got it. I like it. I like it. So yeah, that's good. I see. Listen, I love it. So when you started teaching it,
Mm-hmm.
what happened? Did people just start? Oh my god, I got to get on this.
It's so you're on the internet, right?
Yep.
And I'm a pallet guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, here's something weird that's happened, and maybe some people can relate to this. It took you a while, I'm sure, to build the
Mm-hmm.
audience that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you have an SEO or search engine optimization company or a firm or something, and you're trying to build that or whatever your little side hustle is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times on the internet, it takes a lot of learning curve,
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, and this, that, and the other. So I'm going to be a little long-winded here because I want to walk you through what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was going to have to figure out who's my audience, who do I need, and I'm a pallet guy, right?
Yep.
Fortunately, several years back, I would finish doing pallets before I got married, and I'd go play golf, and I'd play golf sometimes 4 times a week after.
Hey.
Got married though, and
Mm-hmm.
then my wife Melissa is at the point like you don't need to be playing golf 3 times, 4 times a week. I don't care if you get done at 10 o'clock. I'll make a honeydew list for you. So I had all this free extra time, and for years I would just write music, and I would and record and write music.
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessed with that, and then I went into art, and I started kind of figured out I could paint and stuff, and I had art
Mm-hmm.
shows and stuff. I did that for a while, but then at one point, I realized I wanted to learn a little bit more about the internet. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd be done at 10 o'clock, and then I would obsess from 10 a.m. in the morning, start around 7, 7, 6:45, 7 to be done at 9:30, 10.
Mm-hmm.
Switch over and learn about the internet. I had to learn about search engine optimization and websites and how to build and how to market and this type of stuff. I wanted to know this stuff for any business I was in. And the pallet business allowed me the money to be able to obsess over that without
Yeah.
worrying. I had this incoming revenue stream all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that time freedom that I wasn't playing as golf as much, but I was using toward that.
Yeah.
And then once this idea about teaching people, that really came into handy for me to understand how to figure out who my audience is and then how to do marketing and as far as Facebook ads and determining what a lookalike audience is and how to
Mm-hmm.
develop lookalike, all that crazy stuff that's so far removed from
Pallets.
pallets. I can tell you what, this stuff's a lot harder.
I tell people, they don't believe me.
Oh my God, it's like how many tools do I have to learn and master and figure out? And it's nuts. But I was blessed to be, and anybody I think that can do this business and needs extra income to even maybe build their online stuff. This is a great way to do it. It gives you the money freedom, time freedom to do that as well. So, um, it took me a while to figure that out because
Mm-hmm.
pallets, who's going to look at pallets, right?
Yeah.
But now I have students in 14 different countries. I
Well,
think I've taught more people this than anybody on the planet.
well, you got someone in the chat now that says, "Hey, my name is John Sasson. I took this guy's course about a year ago. It changed my life. I work full time as a let me click the other part electrician and still make $4K a month from the pallet business.
There
Congrats,
you are.
man!
See,
Congrats.
he's a double revenue stream. He's
He's
stacking.
trying
I
to.
love
He's
it.
getting. He's like, I'm going after it. Uh,
I get I get stuff every day. I mean, you're not going to believe this, but I got one the other day. He said, "John, we're up to 500,000 a month.
it's crazy.
500,000 a month.
It's crazy.
Just crazy stuff. John, I made more money today than I made all last month. It's overwhelming a little bit to
Mm-hmm.
hear what's going on with this little thing that it's not little, but what I put out there. It chokes me up. I got to tell you.
Man, and so now that you're going to have it in 2 locations, are you like trying to like prescript your days? Like, hey, I'm going to be up here on
No, no,
Tuesdays or what?
no, no, no. I
Okay.
actually I had a guy all these for many years. I have a friend of mine that was doing. I was doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He was
Mm-hmm.
Fridays. So now I have him doing all those orders. I'm giving him a cut right
Uh-huh.
now, which we'll get into brokering in a second, but when I do it down here, I'll just have to concern myself with the orders that I'm getting down here, down
Gotcha.
in
Gotcha.
the
Gotcha.
Mobile area. But that's a perfect segue to talk about the brokering aspect of this, where there's a lot of businesses that need custom built pallets,
Mm-hmm.
or they need 1,000 pallets a week,
Mm-hmm.
maybe of a certain size,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, I don't want to stockpile pallets. I don't want to have that overhead. I don't want to have that warehouse. I have students that do it, fine, but I don't personally. I want to keep it simple. So
Mm-hmm.
when I run into a situation like that, I am in contact with a builder or with another person in the industry that has large volume. I'm setting the deal up, but I'm getting a cut of the action,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'll give you an example. I mean, this is a crazy example, but I'll give you one. One of my students got an order from Hyundai for 80,000 crates for the
Jeez.
year, right?
For the year. Okay. Okay.
And I taught him brokering. And he marked that crate up. We had to make 3 phone calls over a 24, 30-hour period. And
Mm-hmm.
he got that order taken care of, and he marked it up $1,
Mm-hmm.
right? For 80,000 crates, but that's an $80,000 kit,
There you go.
right? But there's some deals that are, one of mine is a simple one. I'm only making 75 cents a unit on 1,100 pallets a
True.
week, but it's at
Right.
$825 a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's week after week after week after week, and it's been going on for years. And you have those type of deals that come along as well. So it's a way of, and I don't have to leave. I don't have to get up out of bed. That's taught in the training as well, where you can do it anywhere in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You're not limited to your area.
Yep.
To set up those type of deals for passive income.
Oh, I like. So you got the class, you're teaching, people are getting good feedback. Do they send you pictures where they're standing by the pallets? Do
Oh
they?
my God! If I could share my screen, I'd go into the. I
Yeah,
could get.
you can do it.
All right, let me actually sign in there because I shut my computer down. Please, nothing happen. All
If
right,
you
you're
have a hard
still
time, I can
there.
share your website. But if
All
you,
right, hold on. Let me go onto the Facebook page. I'm gonna have to kind of do it quick because
it's okay
there's proprietary information in there.
for sure.
But I'll tell you what.
I want to thank Marcus Lightfoot for the $5 super chat and also Fataga for the $5 super chat. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the show.
All right, cool. Love the super chat. All right, what's my password? Okay. Shut everything down when I do these because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want anything.
The internets.
Yeah. I hate passwords.
It's okay. It's okay. I
No,
want to
I
thank.
think I know. I think I'm fine. I just hate them.
Oh, I want to thank the people who dropped their city and state. We have some Massachusetts today. What cities y'all put in here? Arcadia, California. We've got Dallas, Texas, North Carolina, and someone from Brazil in here. And then we have, I think, someone in Tennessee. I might have missed somebody else's, but
Very cool.
welcome.
Hey, listen. Yeah, I can share my screen now.
Yeah, go ahead. You can click it.
Where is it?
Click
Down at the
see
bottom.
the share button.
Share. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, you got it.
Video file or share screen. That's it. I don't have 2 monitors, but
You
all
don't
right.
have to.
All right.
It'll work.
All right. So that's the one. Share, and then I'm gonna switch over. So under media here,
Mm-hmm.
can you see that?
I click it like this. Boom.
You can see it.
Yeah, middleman lifestyle. I
All
love
right.
it.
So you were asking for people in their trucks,
Yeah.
right? So these are all my students out there doing what they're doing and showing their loads, their supply,
Mm-hmm. Look at
their
them straps. They're
truckload.
throwing the straps up there and everything.
Oh yeah, they got straps on there. And see, we deal with plastic drums and
Mm-hmm.
all different types of other stuff as well. People showing off their trucks, wire spools that they're dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
massive amounts of supply. Other things that come into play that we deal with as well because we're not a one-trick pony. So I could go on. This guy's making lights out of pallets, right?
He's like
Uh,
decorative materials.
Right. So I could go on for hours because, we have tens of thousands of posts in this Facebook group that goes along with the training. This isn't the training itself. The training course has 14 modules, but this is a never ending mountain of additional information because everybody's sharing what they're doing. So I just went to the media section. These are actually attached to posts where people are describing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I can't, I'm sorry, guys. There's proprietary, some of the information in
Oh,
those
for sure, for
posts.
sure,
So
for sure.
that's why I just went to the media style. So there you go. Does that give you a good idea?
I love it. I love it. I like the pictures because it just puts names to faces and people enjoying it. Someone in here, thank you, tight bingo. He said, "I've been sitting here today contemplating buying this course. Guess what pops up in my feed? Hashtag it's a sign." It
There
is.
you go.
It's a
Hey,
sign for
and
you.
that's funny, but there's people showing off their checks as well,
Yeah, I like those too.
which is nice. So it's a great group, man. People help each other out. And a lot of deals are done with it with students themselves, each
Mhm.
other, right? So and all over the country. So one guy maybe starting out has a supplier, but he didn't have a buyer, and
Mhm.
there's another guy in the same area. So a lot of people go, "Oh, was there another student in my area?" Well, you better hope so, because this is a really cool way of getting off to a fast start.
I
I
love
could
it.
keep going on. I literally could go on for another hour probably.
I
And
like
still
it. Pinnacle Creation said, I just bought his course Black Friday and got deals already. Thanks, John. Finally, something that works. That's Pinnacle Creations. Thank you for commenting.
love that. Love it. All
Jean
right.
Grace says she's saving up for a truck right now, planning on getting into this in the new year.
All right, I'm
And
gonna scroll just a little bit more. Just see here. I'll give you an example. Here's somebody with a pickup truck, and
click on that. I like
yeah, there's
that.
a way of doing this with just a pickup truck,
Hey,
right?
listen.
He's got about 60 on there, right? So I started with a pickup truck way back
Hmm.
when at one point. So
So 60 of those times what? $7 or what?
$7
Yeah,
in
that's a
3
good day
blocks.
too.
60. Well, it doesn't mean you got to do one order. You could do 2 orders of 60. 120 or 200 or
Hmm.
whatever. It takes me about 35 minutes to pick up and deliver something.
Gotcha.
From
Yeah.
the minute I pull into the place to strap them down, drive 4, 3, 5 blocks, half a mile to the business that's buying them, that's a 35-minute get. And 6, 7, $800 in that amount of time that's what I'm saying. I've always giggled on my way to work
Hmm.
for the longest time, and I'm just tickled to death to be able to share this with folks. But I'll get out of this sharing,
I'll
and
remove it. I'll take it down.
I
Uh,
think you got
yeah.
the
I took it
gist.
down for you so you didn't,
Okay,
just in case you
thanks.
click out. Sean Brown's $2 super chat. He said, can this be done in YC, New York City?
Absolutely. You're in New York City proper. So I guess you're going to have boroughs and stuff. In the training, I have a massive suppliers list and buyers list of the types
Hmm.
of businesses we're going to deal with. Okay. So you're not going to, if you're in New York City proper, you're going to have a lot of this stuff inside where you're not
Hmm.
going to. I show tactics of being able to find this without leaving the house and doing some scouting. But
Hmm.
since some of your stuff's inside, you're actually going to have to go to the businesses that I'm guiding you to do this. So here's some good news. When businesses have to deal with this stuff on the inside and keep it inside,
It takes up space.
create horrible problems, kind of like you were
Hmm.
talking about at Lowe's in
Hmm.
different places where it's clogging up their, these they got orders and orders coming through. They can't have this stuff working, filling up the flow of their warehouse, right? Especially if they're a supplier. A
Hmm.
buyer, likewise, maybe he's dealing with a pallet yard, and the pallet yard, he calls them up and says, "I need 150 pallets." Well, sir, we have a minimum order of 500. I
Ah.
gotta fit 500 pallets inside my warehouse. Yes, that's our minimum order. Oh, and by the way, here's our price. They have a lot of overhead, right? So they
Hmm.
got the price tacked onto it. And we charge $125 for delivery. And it's probably not the pallet you really need.
Yep.
It's a lot of times people just think that's all they have access to. We come along, we solve a lot of those problems. And
Gotcha.
people got
Gotcha.
to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Problem solving is the number one way to get paid.
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah, I like that pickup truck one because I can imagine him throwing that strap on trying to tie
Oh
it
yeah,
down.
that's
I'd
amazing.
probably have a trailer behind me, something where it's like I can see out my back window and it's
All
dirt
right. Well,
behind
I'm
me.
telling you what, if you can back up a trailer, I wasn't born with that DNA, and I did it for a while, and because you got to turn it
Yep.
opposite and
Mm-hmm.
all, it would drive me crazy. And it's funny to say that because I'm a pallet guy. I should know that type of stuff, but I just got frustrated with it, and I've been with flatbeds, for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. They don't swivel. Think of a U-Haul truck without the
Right.
on it. Is basically what it is. It's connected to the cab, so there's no CDL type
Right. Right.
swivel
Right.
like that.
Well, and that's. I see those things and I always see them. They always look really rusty,
Mhm.
like they ain't been washed in years.
Hey,
But
well, I
hey,
tell you what, that's smart in a way because you don't really want them to know how much money you're making. I got a broken corner
ah,
window in my truck, and I keep it that way so they don't. they don't know that I'm doing what I'm doing, right? So you
All
just
right.
want to kind of
Hey,
stay
that
under
makes
the radar.
sense.
I can afford. I've had it broken for 6 years on purpose.
He's like, I'm not fixing this thing. Not
Right,
doing it. But
love it.
yeah, okay. I like it. I like it. So where can they find you on social media if they're looking for you today?
Just there's two places. Go to
Hmm.
YouTube on social media. You can go to YouTube and look up the simplest biz
Hmm.
and pallet, the word pallets maybe, and I have not how to do this, but what this is. Interviews with
Right.
other students and all types of information, goal calculators, me out in the field, case studies, you name it,
Hmm.
about this business so you understand what it is, because I want good students, right?
Right.
And then the other place to get some really good information is to go to thesimplestbiz.com, and there's an opt-in form on there. There's a little explainer video as well, but opt in, and then you're going to get some emails. And
Hmm.
I tend to give you a lot of information, and then you either can buy the course or you can actually. Most people want to set up a call, right, and
Right.
ask some questions before they get it. And so there's an ability in those emails to set up a call and have a chat with us, ask your questions, and we'll send you some. You don't have to do anything on the call. We just answer questions, and some of my students help me because I can't answer them all.
Uh-huh.
Um, so you may get one talk to one of my students, which is a good thing. I think you need to talk to somebody who's actually been doing this as
Yeah.
well, besides myself. And at that point, we can send you some links, and you have time
Mhm.
to chew on it and see if it's for you.
All right, everybody, listen. I got the links in the chat. It'll also be in the description and also the pinned top comment if you're here watching this. Definitely reach out to him. You see, he's got plenty of ways for you to connect on social media. Hey, I'm proud of you, and I'm glad you actually joined us out here on this World Wide Web. Welcome to the internet. You know, I love that you spent all that time in SEO. A lot of people wouldn't do that with their free time. They'd be golfing.
I tell you what, it's really cool in a way. It
Hmm.
does activate a part of your brain that I wasn't using with the pallet business. So in that aspect, it was a tough nut to crack, but it was fun. And one last thing,
Hmm.
there is a discount that we offer for people that book appointments,
Gotcha.
and click on that link. We actually put it inside your link where there is a discount for the training, for the link that we provided.
All right, everybody, listen, you heard them. Discounts on that link. Click on that link to get it. And thank you for your time today, John. I'm glad you're enjoying the beach life and I guess the
Well, we're not on
grandkids,
the
you
beach.
know.
We're close to. We're near the bay, but
Gotcha.
we're doing good. We're very happy. My wife's happy.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Change is always good. New moving around in the same states, good times.
Love
So,
your channel, Eric. I've been
oh,
watching it
thank you.
ever since I heard about you.
Hey,
Enjoy
you
it.
know, I try to put some good stuff out here and there and rant in between.
Good.
All
I love it. All
right.
right.
Thank
Well,
you,
thanks
John.
again.
Have a good day.